Labour's candidate for Police and Crime Commissioner. I think the questions were generally fair and balanced. There were a wide range of topics covered, and I think it was great that the public were able to ask questions, and there are clearly lots of issues. It's a pity we didn't have more time for more questions though. I don't think there was anything particularly challenging. I don't think it was particularly helpful with members of the public shouting it out. But I think apart from that, I think actually there were no particularly challenging questions. Well, I think to be fair, the audience, some of them were fairly partisan, but I think it was mainly a lot of supporters of particular parties. So I don't think within the audience it's going to change hearts and minds, but hopefully there'll be some food for thought of people back at home, particularly in relation to the independence of the Police and Crime Commissioner and whether people are willing to stand as counter-councillors or not. Inevitably there are a lot of anxieties about immigration at the moment, and that's to be understandable in the run-up to the EU referendum. I think it's one of many issues, it has to be said, that are related to Lincolnshire. It's not the only one. I think there would have been nice to have had something more on rural crime. That is something that really does affect people in Lincolnshire quite a lot, and the impact on local people is quite profound. So I was sad that I didn't get to talk about that and my approach to that. I'm getting some very positive feedback door to door, very, very positive indeed. It's been a fantastic campaign. I've enjoyed every minute of it, and I'm looking forward hopefully to getting elected on Thursday.
Mark Jones, the Conservative Party candidate. I thought it was a really good debate. I think, overall, the candidates conducted themselves well, which I think is very much in line with this position. I don't think it's the kind of place for political point scoring. It's about answering the questions and concerns of the public, because this is about the competency and ability of the candidate to do what is a very complex and difficult role. It is very much not about point scoring, and to be honest, if you've got to go and say to government we need extra funding and this is why and what we'll do with it, having that confrontational stance is really not going to get you very far. No doubt there will be an improvement. I don't think it will be as many as I would like, but having travelled across literally every four corners of the county, speaking to so many people, delivering to people, it's been relentless. We will have delivered over 250,000 items of literature to households, yet still there'll be 100,000 we won't get to. And that's the problem. Without having the free post, you just can't get the information to every house. One thing that didn't come up was areas around rural crime, which I think is slightly unusual. We've had that a lot because it's a big rural county, and I do think that each of the candidates must have a plan to tackle rural crime. So overall, good debate, a good range of questions, but you can never fit everything in. I think to be criticised for having done a good job in researching and making sure I fully understood an issue, I'm proud to have that criticism. So I've not got a problem with people asking, do I know too much information? It's just information is available and I've done my homework. Well, I'm feeling very tired. It's been literally dawn till dusk and beyond every day. Generally speaking, people have received very well on the doorstep. They're just pleased that people are coming around and engaging with them. And often people have said, well, you are the only candidate we've seen, which is a disappointment, but nevertheless, I've got to be proud of the effort that we're putting in to make sure people know what we're about. I think the main competition is the system, I'll be honest. The second preference voting system means that people aren't being told clearly that they only have to make one vote. The paperwork basically says you must make two. That's not the case. So I would urge people to vote for the candidate they want to win. That's the important thing.
Victoria AYLING, UKIP candidate for Police and Crime Commissioner. A lot of them seemed disillusioned with politics. A lot of them didn't seem to understand what the role was about, and I think they were trying to learn more. However, I hope I put them right on where I stood, and I hope I put them right on why actually UKIP is not like the other political parties, because we are for the residents first. We have no whip, but behind me is a massive lobbying force to get more funding from the government. It's a fair concern, but then UKIP are not whipped. As a county councillor, we do what we believe is best for the residents. We do not go along party lines and never would. However, I would stand down immediately as a county councillor to take away the UKIP label if I was Police and Crime Commissioner, because I do not feel it appropriate to carry carry on in that role if I was elected. Well, when the role first came out, I thought, oh goodness, not another load of government expense and all the rest of it. And then I looked into it more deeply. 2013-14, the Police and Crime Commissioner office actually cost £170,000 less per year to run than the old police authority, and the police authority was a bit out of touch, and there was a lot of Buggins-turn element about it, which we don't have with Police and Crime Commissioner because they're directly accountable to the public, and the Chief Constable is directly accountable to the Police and Crime Commissioner, and of course the Police and Crime panel keep an eye on the Police and Crime Commissioner. I don't think there was any challenge from my angle because I'm very blunt with my answers. I don't cover up anything, and being UKIP, I'm not whipped, so I say what I believe and what I believe is best for the residents. I think it's a very Tory area, but people are disillusioned with the Tories now, and they don't want the same because we've got Tory MPs, Tory County Council, and we've had a derisory settlement from local government, which is absolutely ridiculous. That Lincolnshire residents get £7 per head, metropolitan areas £63 per head, and that isn't right. And with our policing, we're getting a similar deal, and I think it's because the government has become complacent. It doesn't matter about Lincolnshire, they always vote Tory. Well, the biggest scare they have is a UKIP breakthrough in 2020, with a UKIP background for the Police and Crime Commissioner lobbying for the residents, but with a massive lobbying force behind me, which is UKIP. I suspect they will cough up because they will be terrified of losing their Tory seats.
Hello, my name is Daniel Simpson and I am standing as the Lincolnshire Independent candidate for the forthcoming Police and Crime Commissioner elections on May the 5th. I found the debate very good. There were a lot of points covered and I feel that I was able to answer them well, and I hope that people have left here feeling better informed about the role of the Police and Crime Commissioner. It's an important part of the Police and Crime Commissioner's role is to engage with a whole cross-section of communities and to obviously take an interest in their community safety issues and policing concerns. And unless you engage with them, you're not going to understand what their worries are, and more importantly, you're not going to be able to have a clear idea of where you should be placing the emphasis on policing, because as I've said earlier on, the role is to get out there, meet the public, to engage the public, to engage with businesses, partners, agencies, all sorts of people who've got issues and concerns around policing and crime reduction, and then on the back of that knowledge, to control the budget, to place the emphasis on where policing is needed. I mean, the prime role is about policing in Lincolnshire and making sure it's not compromised by obligations to national policing and government, really. Nobody's told to sling my hook or anything, or get lost or anything. It's all very good-natured, and I think that's good, really, because at the end of the day, people are just concerned about policing and crime reduction, and they want an understanding of how that's going to be addressed and actually made accountable for.
The voter turnout for the last election wasn't great, was it? It was
no, it's about
85,500,
and obviously in that election the two independent candidates were a country mile ahead, and which gives the message that, you know, Lincolnshire people are largely independent people. You know, they've got a view, and in a way, it's a poor show that government has not given more publicity to the role of the Police and Crime Commissioner and attach the importance to it which it deserves from the point of view of the electorate. You know, it really is their only opportunity to have their say and influence on policing and crime reduction in Lincolnshire.